All right, welcome to my class. Today's class, we want to discuss practical physics for WAEC students, those writing this present WAEC 2024. Now, on the screen here is a practical done already, and the table is actually what tabulated. Now, if you observe very well, you see the graph plotted already, and the circuits arranged in this manner. Now, they might ask you to itemize or name the parts of the circuit on the screen here. If you observe, I have Roman figure 1 up to Roman figure 4. All right, let's leave that for now. Let's go back to the table. Now, the first thing they will ask you to do in this particular graph, I plotting it, you have to understand how to plot a graph, having known the table. Now, here we are asked to complete the table of the graph. Now, actually, you'll be asked to run the practicals, and you get the values of the resistance and the voltage actually from the voltmeter and the ammeter. Now, the value of the resistor from the serial number is 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 up to 6.0. That's the value of the resistor. Now, the voltage value, I haven't done it, is 1.40. If you observe, it's in two decimal place, 1.65 up to 2.15. That is the voltage value. Now, how do we not get the reciprocal of the resistor? You see, it's 1 over what? R. 1 over R will give you the values of the reciprocals of the what? Resistor. I see, and is what actually was resistivity. Now, having said that, now the other part, the last column of the table, the reciprocal of the voltage, 1 over V, you have to use your calculator to get 1 over V for all the cases. The first one you get 0.714 down to 0.465. So that's how we get the table. Very simple. That one is the basic calculation that you have to know by yourself. Now, having known this, the next thing we are asked to do for the question part is to plot the graph of 1 over V against 1 over R. 1 over V is the vertical part, while 1 over R is the horizontal part. Now, before you plot the graph, there's something you must know how to do. We call it the title of the graph. The title of the graph of V reciprocal against R reciprocal. Now, first of all, you must get the scale of the graph. How do you get the scale? Now, it depends on how the graph table looks like. Now, the first one, the value of the table is not too, the decimal points are not too much. It's just an whole number in some cases and 0.1 decimal place like that. Now, for the first one, you observe I used a scale of 2 centimeter to represent 0.1 unit. 2 centimeter to represent 0.1 unit on the vertical axis. While I use on the horizontal, I use 0.2 centimeter to represent 0.2 units on the horizontal axis. Therefore, that unit means that 0.1, the next one was 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. While 0.2 unit means that it was 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, just like that in interval. Now, let's see how it goes. So, since we are using that particular scale of the graph, on the vertical part, you're going to see that the full box there, the first one is 0.1, then 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, up to 0.8, because the highest value on the table is 0.714. Therefore, it will exceed that value on the graph sheet. Now, the second thing is this, the horizontal part of it. We have 0.2 up to 1.2. The highest value there is 1. You see, 1.00. Therefore, the interval is 0.2 in the interval up to 1.2. Therefore, you will now plot the graph by finding the point where the vertical and horizontal axis they meet on the graph. Then take note of this, not all the O points will enter in the graph, but you have to get what we call line of best fit at least 3 points will enter the graph. Then you pick those 3 and draw a straight line, and you are good to go. So the next question on the screen here is to calculate the slope of the graph. The slope of the graph is very simple. How do we do that? The slope of the graph is very simple. That is to say, the slope of the graph is the division of the change in the vertical part over the change in the horizontal part. That is to say, the change in the reciprocal of the voltage over the change in the reciprocal of the water resistance. Now, so you get to make sure that the right angle triangle in getting your slope is very big, not too small. Then you pick a point on the straight line and down the straight line also, and you draw a right angle triangle. That's how we get slope of a given graph. Then you trace the point to the vertical axis and that of the horizontal axis. Now in this case, the slope is 7.6 minus 4.3 all over 0.84 minus 0.10. So finally, the final slope here is what? 4.460. That's the slope of this particular graph, as you can see that. All right, let's move to the next question. You're asked to calculate the intercept of the graph. The intercept of this graph is the straight line that cuts the y-axis, that is to say, the reciprocal voltage on the vertical axis. That particular point where it cuts is the intercept of the graph. So in this case, the intercept is what? 0.385, close to 4, as you can see that now, almost 4, almost 0.4, but it's not 0.4, it's what? 0.385. So that's that for that. Now, before we do the last question, which they always ask you to state 2 or 3 precautions while plotting the graph, there's something I want you to know about this particular graph right now. The system or the circuit diagram given right now, they might ask you also to name all the components in the circuit diagram. As you can see, the first one is a cell or a battery, a cell. That's the first one. The second one is the key that close and open the circuit, the key. Then the third one is the ammeter reading. The ammeter reading is the third one. What again is there? The fourth one. Okay, we have the fourth one. There's no mistake here. We have one as a resistor, and we have what they call a rheostat. A rheostat. Okay, we have the V is the voltage. The IV is the resistor, while the VI is the rheostat. The rheostat is actually what? A variable resistor. In case you don't know, you can see variable resistor is also called what? Rheostat in this case. So these are the components in the circuit we have here. Now, I want to say that the last question is state 2 precautions taken in plotting this graph. The first one that is very common is like a regular thing for all students to know this. Number 1, you avoid error due to parallax. Parallax error should be what? Avoided in taking the reading from the voltmeter and the ammeter. That's the first one. Now the second one here could be make sure that all the connectors are well tightened. Make sure that all the connectors are well tightened. And the third one can be that you make sure that all the connectors are clean, like they are clean, they're not dirty, to avoid wrong readings. So these are the precautions you have to take in. And also, we can also say that the last precaution here is this: that when taking the reading, now when reading is not taken, make sure that the key is off, is open. Make sure that the key is open, it's not connected when you are not taking reading. So these are the precautions you need to know while plotting this graph. So please, I want you to make sure you sit down with your pencil using this particular skill I've given to you to try and plot this graph under electricity. I will bring more questions on this and I will show you more practicals as time continues. Thank you for your time and God bless you. Please don't forget to subscribe on this channel to get more of this before your exams. God bless you and bye-bye.